I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to Ozark City Hall. We're glad you're here for the Board of Aldermen meeting and engaging with your elected officials. Listening to perspectives of city residents, business owners, and other community members helps our elected leaders make more informed decisions. Before the meeting begins, let's review our rules of order. These ensure the meeting is orderly and efficient while allowing everyone who would like to speak an opportunity to do so. There are two opportunities for you to speak: during the agenda's scheduled visitor and guest portion of the meeting and during public discussion of new bills and resolutions. During the agenda's scheduled visitor and guest portion, anyone who signed up at the city clerk's office before 5 p.m. the Wednesday before the meeting can speak to aldermen about the topic they specified. Now, in the public discussion of new bills and resolutions, that allows you to give comments for aldermen to consider before they make a decision. The consent agenda bills are not open to comment. If you want to speak about an item on the consent agenda, you must sign up by noon the Friday before the meeting. You can do that by contacting the city clerk in writing or fill out a card in the council chambers before the meeting starts. Write down the specific bill and give the card to the city clerk before the consent agenda is set. That bill will then go to a first reading, which is open to public discussion, and anyone may speak about it. Anytime anyone is speaking, the following rules apply. First, only one person should speak at a time. Please be respectful of the person speaking and hold your comments until it's your turn. Second, anyone speaking must do so from the podium and speak into the microphone. Third, you must first provide your name and address in writing to the city clerk before beginning your comments. These forms are provided near the entrance. You also must state your name and address to the Board of Aldermen using the podium microphone. Fourth, all comments should be addressed to the mayor and aldermen. Finally, all speakers have 5 minutes to make their comments. The mayor or alderman may have additional questions for speakers after their 5-minute time limit. Occasionally, the board will invite someone to make a presentation at the meeting. This is only to give information to the board about a specific topic. These presenters will have no time limit on giving their information. This meeting will be live streamed and recorded with video and audio unless there are technical difficulties. The use of cell phones or other devices is discouraged during the meeting. Please silence your phones right now. Again, thank you for being here and engaging with the City of Ozark. The meeting will begin shortly.
Okay, let's have roll call, please.
Alderman Aiken?
Here.
Alderman Campbell?
Here.
Alderman Galloway?
Here.
Alderman Hutchinson?
Here.
Alderman Metcalf?
Here.
Alderman Snyder is absent. We have 5 aldermen present. We have a quorum.
Okay, thank you very much. Tonight, we have just one set of minutes to look at. It's the July 7th, 2025 regular session. Are there any questions regarding these before we proceed? Okay, I am not seeing any. Entertain a motion.
I move that we approve the July 7th regular session minutes.
Second that.
Okay. The motion is made by Alderman Metcalf, second by Alderman Hutchinson, approving the July 7th, 2025 regular session minutes. All in favor of this motion to do so by show of hands. And that does carry. Okay. We have no ceremonial matters tonight, but we do have a scheduled guest tonight from the Ozark Chamber of Commerce. We have Chris Russell, the CEO and president, here tonight.
Thanks again for once again letting me come in and kind of give you a little quick update. Lots of fun things happening, but a little quiet in the summertime. All of our major events are over until we get into parade mode here a few months later. But a couple of things we have been doing. We've had several ribbon cuttings in the last month or two. We had one at celebrating our Springfield business here in that came down and joined the chamber, Endless Treasures and Gifts. We also did a ribbon cutting for the Finley River Fine Artists Group over here at the History Museum. Route 3 Storage, a new storage unit and building. They have 2 businesses up there. Both are members of the chamber over there by the Tracker Marine plant. And then new restaurant, Las Casuelos Mexican Restaurant. We did a ribbon cutting there. And then Brad and Kristen moved a block. So we celebrated them moving a block to the hometown print house boutique. And then the other thing we're trying to do more of now that we've got additional help are a little bit more community videos when we have big events that are happening. Had a neat thing happen the other night at the farmer's market. We had 20 young entrepreneurs that came in from the Springfield program, and we went over and did a video with them, just kind of talking to these young kids. And I interviewed one kid on the little video, and she happened to be an Ozark student, so that was a win-win. Didn't know that when we interviewed her. So, and then we of course promoted the rodeo coming up. That was last weekend as well. Several new members have joined the chamber in the last month or two. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's a positive growth. So we're seeing people still come and join the chamber and want to get involved in our community. And then, of course, one thing that we are discussing here in our board of directors meetings is it's that time of the year to start having conversations about 2026 potential board members. So we're looking for decision makers in our community, business owners, people who have high influence. So if you know anybody that you think would be a great fit to be on our board, it's a member of our chamber, please let us know. We'd like to have a conversation with them. That process it starts now, the vetting process, and then of course we don't elect them until January of 2026. I don't know if you caught it or not. It was a lot of fun. Me and the mayor did on one of our little Ozark Unplugged podcasts. He came in the studio and it really was a good conversation. I didn't know that he was a true Southern Baptist preacher way down in Southern Louisiana and learned Cajun. So that was one of the conversations that came out of that. We do invite you to be a part of our Welcome Home New Teacher event coming up on August the 4th. Guys, this is a really fun event where we welcome all the new teachers that are coming into the Ozark School District. There's roughly 70 new teachers coming in. We're looking for swag items, prize baskets, and then, of course, lunch buddies. You get to come to the event. You get to walk in with the new teachers. We also have administrators from each of the buildings, and then, of course, the full cabinet, Dr. Wilson and her team there. So it's a great and the school board members. So it's a great opportunity to show a collaboration of this community and showing support for the Ozark schools. Chamber Luncheon is this weekend. It will be at the Ozark Innovation Center. Tickets are still on sale for that. And then, of course, First Friday Coffee this month will be August the 1st at Mercy Clinic. So we'd love to have you come by and check that out as well. So other than that, we are kind of in parade mode, starting to get that stuff kind of going. I got to get with the city and get our permits going. We talked to the county. There's some new regulations within the county. I think we've got all that straightened out. But we're looking to have a good old-fashioned fun parade coming up in November, which will be here before you know it. But that's kind of what's going on in the chamber, guys. Any questions? Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Very much.
Appreciate your report and what y'all doing with the chamber. Okay. Robert Hoffman, who was scheduled tonight, cannot make it. He's planning to come August the 4th, so we'll go on. Okay, we do have, on number 7, we do have before us a consent agenda. First, I want to ask the city clerk, has anyone signed up from the public to speak on Bill 3676 tonight, ma'am?
No one has signed up.
Okay.
That bill.
Okay, answered that question. Are there 2 aldermen here who wish for Bill 3676 to be removed tonight from the consent agenda? Okay, not seeing any. Okay. So therefore, I need a motion and a second for us to set the consent agenda.
So moved.
Okay, I need a second.
Second.
Okay, so the motion is made by Alderman Galloway, second by Alderman Hutcherson, is to set the consent agenda. All in favor to set the consent agenda, do so with the raise of hand. And no one is opposed, so that passes. Now we need a motion and a second to read the consent agenda, Bill number 3676, by title twice.
Your Honor, I move that we read consent agenda Bill 3676 by title only twice.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Okay. The motion is made by Alderman Galloway, second by Alderman Aiken, is that we read Bill number 3676 on the consent agenda by title twice, do so with a raised hand. And that does carry.
An ordinance of the City of Ozark, Missouri, affirming a procedure to disclose potential conflicts of interest in compliance with Missouri law. I'll read it a second time. An ordinance of the City of Ozark, Missouri, affirming a procedure to disclose potential conflicts of interest in compliance with Missouri law.
Okay, now I need a motion and second to approve Bill number 3676 on the consent agenda.
Your Honor, I move that we approve bill number 3676 on the consent agenda as ordinance number 25-051.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, the motion is, and second is to approve Bill 3676 to become ordinance, let me make sure I say it right, 25-051. Okay, roll call, please.
Alderman Aiken.
Aye.
Alderman Snyder is absent. Alderman Metcalf.
Aye.
Alderman Galloway.
Aye.
Alderman Hutchinson.
Aye.
Alderman Campbell.
Aye.
We have 5 aye votes, motion carries.
Okay, thank you very much. Now we will move to second readings, and we're going to move now to Bill number 3675.
Your Honor, I move that we place Bill 3675 on its second reading by title only.
Second.
Okay. The motion is that we place Bill number 3675 on its second reading by title only. That motion was made by Alderman Aiken, second by Alderman Metcalf. All in favor of voting on the motion to discuss Bill number 3675, do so by show of hands. And that does carry.
An ordinance of the City of Ozark, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to accept and enter into a surface transportation block grant program agreement with the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission.
Okay, and welcome staff comments from Public Work Director Jeremy Parson.
Really don't have anything to add from the last meeting. If you have any questions at all, I'd be happy to answer that.
Any questions? I think everybody's happy. Thank you, sir.
Great, thank you.
Okay, any final comments from the board regarding? Okay, I am not seeing any.
Your Honor, I move that we adopt Bill 3675 as ordinance 25-052.
Second.
Okay, the motion is that we adopt Bill number 3675 to become ordinance 25-052. That motion was made by Alderman Aiken. It was seconded by Alderman Metcalf. Roll call, please.
Alderman Hutchinson.
Aye.
Alderman Campbell.
Aye.
Alderman Metcalf.
Aye.
Alderman Aiken.
Aye.
Alderman Galloway.
Aye.
Alderman Snyder is absent. We have 5 aye votes, motion carries.
Okay, that finishes that. Now we're going to first reading, but we have, as for Bill number 3677, it's going to be a formal public hearing.
Yes, Your Honor, I move that we place Bill number 3677 on its first reading by title and brief description only.
Second by,
Second.
okay. The motion is to place Bill number 3677 on its first reading by title only. That motion was made by Alderman Metcalf. It was seconded by Alderman Campbell. All in favor of voting on the motion to discuss Bill 3677, do so by show of hands. And that does carry.
An ordinance of the City of Ozark, Missouri, amending the zoning code and official map by changing the zoning classification of an approximately 20-acre parcel of real property located in the 3600 block of North Highway NN.
Okay. At this time, the public hearing for Bill number 3677 is now open. We'll address staff comments from our Community Director, Randall Whitman.
Good evening. This is a request to rezone 20 acres, as Amanda said, from agriculture A1 to general use or general mixed use. The property is located just west of the North Elementary School and Middle School on NN Highway. The property is currently undeveloped. It was annexed into the city last month. The Planning and Zoning Commission held a public hearing on June 23rd and did recommend approval of the zoning. We present this slide. This is the same slide. These are the same factors the Planning and Zoning Commission is asked to consider when an application is made to rezone anything in the city limits. So how are the properties in the city, in the subject area currently zoned? How are they used? What is the proposed zoning? What does the city's comprehensive plan recommend in terms of the zoning and future development of the area? What trends are occurring in the area, and how does that weigh in on the decision-making, what public improvements, things like that. And of course, in this case, is general mixed use appropriate for, or is that zoning district appropriate for this property? So as you can see from this map, the properties on the west and south are zoned C2, general commercial. They're undeveloped with the exception of the Cox Rehab Hospital up at 1660 Garton Road. The properties to the north are largely undeveloped. There is an old family farm on one parcel. That's the agriculture residential property that's unincorporated. And then, of course, as I said, the school to the east is zoned general commercial as well, both schools. And then there's a residential subdivision that surrounds that. So with respect to future planning and the comprehensive plan, we looked at both the city's 2019 comprehensive plan as well as the Onward Ozark Corridor Plan. That was the information we shared with the Planning and Zoning Commission to help them with their decision. Both in general are in agreement with respect to recommendations in terms of future land use, with respect to infrastructure and site design and things like that. So we'll talk briefly about the city's comprehensive plan. So in this case, both plans recommend the property be zoned and used in a mixed-use format. So that really means commercial alongside some form of residential. In this particular case, the comprehensive plan doesn't recommend single-family, a neighborhood or housing or anything like that. So it would be more diverse, high-density housing. Both plans refer to the need for design solutions rather than just basing your decision on future land use. The general mixed use does address, and we'll talk more about this in a minute, design requirements for future development projects. The comprehensive plan specifically recommends commercial uses and services that are supported in locations where higher classification roadways are in the immediate vicinity or the property is adjacent to them. So the plan goes on, again, to discourage single family on roads that are not local streets. And NN Highway is classified as an arterial street. It's a state highway arterial. So again, this property wouldn't be appropriate for a traditional neighborhood or a subdivision. Higher density housing, diverse housing, or buildings where there's housing in combination of it or supported by it would be appropriate for a mixed use format or configuration. And the plan specifically calls out developments that cater towards residents of affordability and different lifestyles and different housing choices and things like that. The comprehensive plan recommends the city require that all roadways, stormwater, utility infrastructure be analyzed to accommodate the proposed development intensity, which would require or which would include any improvements required on NN Highway. So we haven't been presented with a preliminary plat or a concept plan to help envision how this property would be developed, and that's not unusual. I think every zoning case I've presented since I've been here in 5 months, none of them came forward with a preliminary plat. That's pretty typical. It's not unusual for us to review that at the time a site plan is submitted or the actual development is weighed. If it's a plat, if it's a subdivision, it usually comes in at a later time. So again, fairly typical. The general commercial design standards, as well as the transportation overlay district, would influence final building design, signage, and site design. We do want to answer some potential questions about how the comprehensive plan weighs in on those public improvements in terms of a general mixed-use district, and I'll talk about that in just a minute. Utilities are available to the site. Water and sewer would be required to be extended and upgraded to serve the needs of the property and those adjacent to it. So any development would require extension to utilities, roadways, things like that, as typical. And that would be done at the developer's expense. Future developments will be required to coordinate access with the Missouri Department of Transportation with respect to their access. I think I've got another slide here that I'll show you where that likely would be. They would be granted one point of access, and it would be mainly across the road from where the school entrance is. So it would be an access point there. Their their transportation analysis or traffic study would indicate what type of improvements are required on end. And of course, that would occur at the time of development when we know exactly what's being planned. So that, I should say, that would also include any sidewalk, trail improvements and things like that. There's some sketchy lines and I say sketchy, there's sketches of where trail improvements were required that are indicated in the Onward Ozark plan. So this property will need to make some access to a future trail to the east and to the west. So as I said, the comprehensive plan recommends the city allow flexibility in how the property is developed with respect to lot sizes, building configuration, density, and setbacks. So this is more direction with respect to how the city should craft our ordinances to guide development. The city's done that through the design of the general mixed-use district and the design requirements. So as the name implies, again, this is mixed use, and mixed use can occur within an individual building, or it can occur within separate buildings on the same parcel. But each parcel created must have a residential use or non-residential use. So they can't use this as a mechanism to just develop multifamily. It will have to have a non-residential component. There's some outdoor public space amenities required. So this can occur in combination with different parts of the development. And that can occur with respect to open space, outdoor seating for a restaurant. We don't really have a lot of direction. That's just, again, something that will be weighed when the development proposal comes in. Trail amenities or other site improvements outside the building footprint could probably qualify for that as well. So in addition to those design standards for non-residential, the city's C2 general commercial design standards would apply with respect to the building materials and things like that. In the mixed-use district, parking is required to be placed on the side or behind buildings. And there's some additional landscaping and screening requirements for trash containers and other things like that. All the requirements of the notification, I think we had 2 speakers at the Planning and Zoning Commission who were opposed to the development, or the rezoning spoke. Other than that, staff and the Planning and Zoning Commission recommend approval of the rezoning request. I believe the applicant has a representative here to speak or answer any questions, but other than that, I'll be available to answer questions you have for me.
Okay. From the board, any questions? Okay, yes, Alderman Hutcherson.
Could you clarify about sidewalks, especially along NN? I know the internal sidewalks, the city would probably require sidewalks along any streets that are on the interior, but what about the road frontage on NN?
I believe that will probably have to be confirmed when they submit their proposal, but I generally believe they would have to include sidewalks on that as part of their development. Jeremy, you want to? Yeah, he's nodding yes. So, and I should say any roads that are platted or planned as part of the development would also require sidewalks. And again, if it's a collector street on both sides, if it's just a local street serving the parcels, then it would just be one side.
Okay, I just was asking especially because on the bottom of the page here under sidewalk connections, it says the potential for a sidewalk buyout versus the city code. Wanting clarification there.
Yeah, maybe Jeremy can jump up here and answer. I could try, but I might be wrong, so. Do you know the likelihood of a buyout being approved there?
Yeah, actually, it does qualify. It meets our criteria for the 3 qualifications for paying in lieu of sidewalks. But according to our trail master plan, we have identified a pathway along the entire NN corridor. We would actually begin to pursue some grant opportunities on that as well.
So it might be that they could do a buyout, but that money would be sequestered for when a future sidewalk was built from the city with all intention of having a sidewalk built.
That's a great way to put it, because if we can figure out a way to leverage that money as a match or something like that, that could go towards that. But the goal, please know the goal, we want sidewalks everywhere.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Alderman Campbell.
If I understood you right, MoDOT allows for one entrance
That's what they-
across from the school or in that area.
Yes, that's what they've kind of done some preliminary comments on, yes.
Okay. Will there be a second exit onto Garden Road or somewhere else? Or is it just going to be the one entrance exit?
So this property would be required to basically develop an internal street circulation system. So they would, at a minimum, would have to extend streets or access to the east, to the west and south. I'm not certain about the north, but this property doesn't abut Garden, so they wouldn't, at this time, there wouldn't be any streets that it accesses other than NN, because that's the only street that's there.
And there's really no street to access to the west without going north or south, correct?
Yeah, this is kind of one of those situations where this is the first development in, so they begin to set the pattern and
Okay.
the circulation system on where the other parcels will connect.
And there is no street going east-west immediately to the south of the property. I'm in favor of the project. I just want to get some clarification.
Yeah, so maybe part of the answer to that is, if you're familiar, there's a Longview intersection planned. And this property wouldn't necessarily align with where that intersection and that road would go through, but the streets that this property would have to invest in would. So there would be a connection there long-term. It's just hard to say where it would be and what configuration, but there would be connectivity, to answer your question.
Okay.
Anyone else from the board? Okay, I'm not seeing any. Thank you, sir. Since at this time, is there anyone from the public who wishes to speak for Bill number 3677? If you wish to speak for, this is your time.
Good evening. My name is Cameron Hull. Address is 3213 Southwest Bypass in Springfield, Missouri. Want to first start off by talking a little bit about the neighborhood meeting. We had a handful of people show up to the neighborhood meeting. One of the major concerns that residents in the area had at the neighborhood meeting was the existing traffic on NN. If you drive that section of roadway, especially in front of the school there, you know that traffic is a big issue there. I just want to provide some clarification that a traffic impact study is going to be required at the time of the development. And so there is an existing traffic issue along that section of roadway, but it's not the developer's responsibility to fix an existing traffic issue. The developer is going to have to look at the site plan, the proposed use, what's going to be going in there in the future. There's going to have to be a traffic impact study for the traffic that development is creating and adding to the roadway. And then we'll be having to look at what improvements are required along NN for just the development's traffic. Additionally, there is a single family residence to the north. A buffer will be required at the time of the development. That buffer is going to be required on the use that goes in. So mixed use allows for commercial, residential, retail. So depending on what the use is along that property line, that's going to determine what the buffer yard is. I do want to note that that house is 400 feet from the property line. So, we're not talking about building a building right up against someone's house that's been there for 100 years. There's quite a bit of an offset there, and there will be a buffer yard required in the future. Just to reiterate kind of the surrounding uses to the west and the south, it is zoned commercial. And so mixed use is a great use to kind of break up the buffer between commercial and the school and the residential further to the east. Additionally, just to reiterate what Randall said, that the comprehensive plan calls for this specific piece of property to be mixed use. And the Onward Ozark Corridor Plan calls for it to be mixed use. I think it's a great fit for the area. It's kind of that hinge piece of property to really kickstart development here. There's a lot of great things that can happen. We're talking about Longview potentially in the future and extending roads to the west and to the south. So again, this is a great property to kind of kickstart development in this area. And mixed use does fit in, I think, well with the surrounding property. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions or concerns you guys have.
Okay, I'm not seeing any. Thank you for your time.
Thanks.
Okay. Anyone else from the public who speak for bill number 3677? Okay, I'm not seeing movement. Anyone here who would speak against bill number 3677? This is now your time. Okay. Any final board comments? Okay, I'm not seeing any. Therefore, the public hearing for bill number 3677 is now closed, and bill number 3677 will be held over to a future meeting. Now we'll draw attention to new bill 3678.
Your Honor, I move that we place bill number 3678 on its first reading by title only.
Second by,
Second.
okay. The motion is to replace bill number 3678 on its first reading by title only. That motion was made by Alderman Galloway and second by Alderman Hutchinson. All in favor of voting on the motion to discuss bill 3678, do so by show of hands. And that does carry.
An ordinance approving the execution of a cooperative agreement with the Missouri Commercial Development LLC and the Ozark Marketplace Community Improvement District.
Okay. And we have a return guest to us tonight, Sarah Bernat, who's been here before, and she's going to explain this to us.
Good evening, Mayor and board members. Sarah Granath with Gilmore and Bell. As a reminder, we serve as the city's outside economic development council. And as you will remember, back in April, this board approved the Ozark Marketplace Community Improvement District petition, which formed and created the CID. Since then, the city and the CID and the developer have been working to negotiate a cooperative agreement as required by the ordinance that you all passed approving the creation of the CID. It required the district and the city to enter into a cooperative agreement within 1 year of that ordinance. And so that is what is before you tonight. I'll go through a couple highlights, probably what I would consider the most important points in the cooperative agreement. Happy to answer any other questions you all have about it. And then at the end, the developer is also here. I believe he will provide a little update on the project as well. So this cooperative agreement, you can think about it kind of as an overall agreement, a contract of how the city, the CID, and the developer will all work together and kind of what will happen with this CID moving forward. And so with that, it outlines the responsibilities and duties for the collection and the administration of CID revenues. As a reminder, that includes both a sales tax and a special assessment. And what happens if some of these agreements, responsibilities are not followed through, what we call an event of default. So as a reminder, the CID was established for a maximum term of 27 years. This cooperative agreement reinforces that 27-year maximum lifespan. It also outlines the fact in kind of our agreement, our understanding at the initial petition phase that the CID will be terminated at the end of repayment for the certified costs. And so with that, the developer will contract for the work to be done, the CID projects. It allows the developer or the CID to take out a loan in either of their names and then be repaid out of CID revenues as funds come in over time from the sales tax and the special assessments. That repayment is provided for with interest as well. It's set at the prime rate plus 1% as a maximum reimbursement rate. I'll say kind of anecdotally, that's fairly standard across most CID cooperative agreements and kind of these public-private partnerships, a pretty standard reimbursement rate. To be qualified for this reimbursement of project costs, the developer will have to submit what's called a form of reimbursement certificate. It's attached at the end of the agreement, the standard form for it. What that does is it requires the developer to outline the costs that were incurred. We will require with that the submission of kind of detail or backup documentation behind those. So what does that look like? Looks like an invoice from a contractor and then a canceled check. Things like that to show here was the charge with kind of the address where it was incurred. Here is the evidence of payment. That reimbursement certificate must be approved both by the CID and the city. And so both of those signatures are required before the reimbursement can be made out of CID funds. This agreement also provides that no new projects may be added to the CID outside of what was listed in the petition and then is recited also in the agreement without prior approval by the board. With that, it outlines the budget, I believe it's the very last page, Exhibit D, the budget of those costs. That's the same as what was provided in the petition. We've kind of grouped them into different categories, but the same costs, same total amount. And it provides for an annual operating cost of the district. It's up to $25,000 with an escalation throughout the life. Those are costs such as, well, let me back up. If you'll remember, so the CID is a separate political subdivision. So it has kind of these ongoing administrative operating costs, has to pay an audit, legal fees, notices that would be required, things like that, recording of this document, just various items like that for kind of the ongoing administration. And so that's provided in there as well. As I mentioned, there are events of default. That would be if the developer or the CID does not essentially hold up their end of the bargain. This is the contract that allows the city to step in and enforce these obligations on the developer. And so that is kind of a brief overview of the cooperative agreement. I'm happy again to answer any questions that you have on that. And then I'll let Brett step up and probably give you the more exciting update of the project.
Any questions? I'm not saying, thank you, Sarah. Welcome, Brett.
Yes, good evening, everybody. Brett Robal, 4640 Stonebrook Court, Springfield, Missouri. Happy to be here again, giving you an update. Since last I was here, a lot of things have taken place. Let me start from the beginning. So we published our scope of work, public improvement plans that were approved by the City of Ozark for construction. We got those bids back and awarded the bid to Emery Sapp & Sons. We've also received there's two sets of plans for this project. One is through the City of Ozark that gets funneled through the OSRD. That's all done. And then the second part of the plans are MoDOT. Those plans are now approved. And those plans are also out for a public bid. Return date on that is this Wednesday. So since we awarded the project to Emery Sapp, I'm sure you all seen, they've been busy. And so, the mass grading is complete. Right now they're working on the utilities. So it's basically mass grading, utilities, and then the roads go next. And somewhere in that process, the MoDOT, South Street improvement plans will be taking place as well. So everything, I was praying maybe a little bit too hard on the rain to stop. I didn't mean to overcorrect for the heat. Not that I have any direct line or anything. I also forgot to ask about rock. So we've run into a lot of rock, a lot of rain, all of which have slowed us down, but we're still on track to finish this year. You may have also noticed that Aldi pad is complete. And so their building permit has been pulled. And so they're working on construction. So we'll be working parallel with them. There are some other businesses that are also moving forward on their building plans. The other thing we've been doing in the meantime is working with other businesses. Not ready to announce additional ones yet, but we are either under letter of intent, negotiating letter of intent, or negotiating leases or purchase agreements with 5 additional businesses. That'll be 9. And if all those come to fruition, we are almost out of land. So it's been a great success. With the partnership with the city has been fantastic on all levels. This cooperative agreement here is something that we needed to get done administratively. And it's been a pleasure as always to work with Amanda and Sarah to get that complete. So happy to answer any questions that I can, but let's brief report on the project.
Okay, on Metcalf.
Brett, thanks for being here tonight. The MoDOT plan that gets approved by Wednesday, is that when we'll start seeing construction on the intersection leaving Walmart area to go straight in?
So the current plans call the current plan schedule calls for completion of the existing, what we have existing, so on that 26 acres, on or around December 1st. So I don't know who's going to be awarded this contract, but this will be a parallel job. And so we see no reason why we couldn't get that done at the same time. How that's sequenced exactly with the current contract, I don't know, but it should all be complete by that on, December, basically. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, Alderman Campbell.
I've got two questions. One is kind of a follow-up to Alderman Metcalf. Did you say that the MoDOT plans had been approved and notice to proceed is this Wednesday? Or did you say that the MoDOT plans would be approved this Wednesday?
Yeah, let me clarify. The MoDOT, we have our MoDOT plans approved by MoDOT. And then once we got to the point where I would call nearly complete, what we did, we have to publish those for public improvement, public bid for 30 days. And so that 30 days is up. The deadline for any contractor who wants to submit a bid to complete those plans is due this Wednesday. So on Wednesday, there'll be a bid opening. We'll review the bids, and then shortly, we'll evaluate those and award that contract shortly thereafter.
When do you expect the notice to proceed to those bidders, to one of those bidders to be, would that be a quick turnaround?
Yeah,
Okay.
before the end of the month.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, we'll have to evaluate them. Who knows what the bids will come in, unless we see some issue that pops up that's unforeseen, but I think it's pretty straightforward. And then the CID will have to have a board meeting, evaluate those bids and award the bids, but everything's in place such that I think we can get that accomplished by the end of the month.
Okay. And I noticed that McDonald's has turned their plans into they're under review now.
Okay, good. I didn't know that. That's great.
Is Mr. Whitman still here? Or is he
Yes,
gone?
yes.
Okay, there he is. Could we have him give us an update on McDonald's review? I don't know how long he's had that we've had the plans.
I don't think we have McDonald's plans submitted yet. Oh, yes, we do.
Oh.
I take that back.
Yeah.
Stand corrected. This is from July, this is from June. I want to say obviously they're not approved, so there's usually 2 rounds, so I would say it's similar.
Okay. Just curiosity, and everybody's asking, how that goes, but.
I haven't looked at all of them. I've looked at Casey's and a couple of other ones, but I haven't looked at all the applications or permits
I got you.
that are submitted through there. So.
And I did say plans. I probably should have said permit. I don't know if that's one and the same or.
Yeah, they have not issued a permit for it, no.
Okay.
I think Aldi's is the only thing that's been permitted in the development to this point.
I got you.
Did I answer your question? I'm sorry.
Yeah, and it was more of just finding out what I could because we get asked questions, you know what I mean? But I didn't really, I was actually a little bit surprised that McDonald's had already submitted for their permit or whatever. But,
I might be able to add a little bit more color.
okay.
That's okay. So the one thing I did fail to mention is, if you recall, last time we were here, we had a development agreement approved, which allowed us to file the final plat early. So we put up the letter of credit for security for the city to make that happen. That allowed Aldi to pull the building permit right away. And then we went back to the businesses that we've been talking to saying, okay, you can now move forward. And so several of them basically kicked off their work at that point. So McDonald's was one. I'd say Casey's and Plaza Tire are a little bit behind them, but they're starting to move. And then I think that the dominoes will start falling pretty quickly right after that.
Okay.
So I would expect by this fall, you'll be seeing many more applications for building permits.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else? Okay. Thank you, Brett. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Now, at this time, since this is the first reading, is there anyone here tonight wishing to speak regarding bill number 3678? This is your time. Okay, I'm not seeing movement. Any final board response? I'm not seeing, so therefore, bill number 3678 will be held for a future meeting. We now will turn our attention to resolution 2028.
Your Honor, I move that we read Resolution 2028 by title only.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Okay, the motion is that we read resolution 2028 by title only. That motion was made by Alderman Galloway. It was seconded by Alderman Aiken. All in favor of voting to read resolution 2028, just by show of hands. And that does carry.
A resolution by the Board of Aldermen of the City of Ozark, Missouri, authorizing the city to acknowledge the Main Street Program Agreement. I'd be happy to introduce this bill. The city's familiar with the Historic River District. The Historic River District participates as a local Main Street program. They are an affiliate tier level, and they have participated in the Missouri Main Street Connection Program for many years. As part of that program, they are required to enter into a contract with Missouri Main Street annually, and as part of that contract, they have to have an acknowledgement that the city's aware that they are participating. The agreement is not binding on the city, and the city's not a party to the agreement, but because the agreement asks for the mayor to acknowledge it, the mayor cannot do that without an affirmation of the board. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, I am not seeing, so thank you very much. Again, we do have this time. Is anyone here wishing to, from the public, wish to speak regarding this resolution 2028? This is your time. Okay, I'm not seeing movement, so final board, any board response? Okay, Alderman Galloway.
Your Honor, I move that we adopt Resolution 2028.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay. The motion is that we adopt Resolution 2028. That motion was made by Alderman Galloway. It was seconded by Alderman Hutchinson. All in favor of voting on the motion to approve Resolution 2028, do so by show of hands. And that does carry. Okay. At this time now, we'll turn our attention to reports, and we'll begin with our City Administrator, Eric Johnson.
Thank you, Your Honor. I want to take this opportunity to thank everyone who attended last Thursday's groundbreaking for the Chadwick Flyer. That was an amazing event, and I appreciate all of the board members being there. All of our local partners, especially want to thank Show Me Christian County and the Chamber of Commerce. They're here tonight in our audience. They're present. They were among several partners who helped participate and brought this project to fruition. It was a very exciting time. And we thank Jeremy and Hayden and all the other team members who brought that project before us and who are keeping it on track and on the right path. Also, I want to take this opportunity to say thank you to the mayor and board for giving me the opportunity to serve this community. 1 week ago, I celebrated my 1-year anniversary in Ozark. It was hot 1 year ago, and it's hot now, so we are in full summer swing. But we try every day to do the right thing. We don't always get it perfect, but we're moving this organization forward, and I will tell you that this has been a year of a lot of firsts for me and a lot of firsts for you in some cases. And this past Saturday, I experienced a first for me in Ozark by going to the rodeo. And I want to say it was a wonderful time. I'm estimating there were between 3,000 and 4,000 people. This was Saturday evening, so it was the grand finale for that event. And there was tremendous Ozark pride for God and country in this community. And it was tremendous to see the activity and see the community spirit and support for that event. I was very excited to be part of it. And again, I just wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to be part of this great organization and for celebrating a milestone. And with that, I will conclude my comments.
Any questions for our City Administrator? Okay, Next, we'll welcome back our Community Development Director, Randall Whitman.
Yes, I just have a couple things to add to our June report. The Planning and Zoning Commission held a meeting on the 23rd. In addition to having the same public hearing for the property on NN, they did re-elect Jeff Garrison as their chairman for another year. And so looking ahead, July 28th, we have just one item on the agenda, and that'll be a rezone on some property on 15th Street, just south of Rosie Joe's. There's two tracks there. There'll be rezoned, or one is C2, the other one's agriculture, both requesting to be rezoned to R3. So be glad to add anything to that. Any questions?
Okay. Any questions? Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Next, we'll recognize our partner, our OC partner. I can't say it tonight. Director Hayden, come forward. I can't say your department.
Before you is the Parks and Recreation report for June. There may be a difference between what you may see in the packet and a printed copy, but I believe we can provide a printed copy. I apologize, I was at the last baseball game of the season for Finley River Park. One team, my son's team, is losing by a long shot, but that's okay. But before you is the June report. I will note that at the top of this, we're going to start giving you all a master plan update so you can see where we're at with that process.
Good.
A big date for you all to keep in mind is August 7th. That is the first of several public meetings hosted at the OC from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. This one will be more of a, hey, what are you looking for, as opposed to how do you feel about some of these concepts and ideas. And so SWT Design will be down there that day. We had some really great meetings, of course, with you all, the board, as well as the A&M Society, Show Me Christian County, the Chamber of Commerce, and then some city staff, including our Public Works Director, our Planning and Development Director, and our city administrators, just towards the end of July. Beyond that, I'm happy to answer any questions if you all have any.
Any questions for Hayden? Yes.
I'll relate my experience yesterday.
Okay.
So my family, we had our Sunday supper and well, we're going to play pickleball. And we go to the school's pickleball courts, which are full.
Yeah.
But we did travel all the way to Nixa to enjoy their park and play pickleball there. I'll leave it at that.
If it makes you all feel better, I was with my son a few weeks back on a day off, and I said, you want to do something fun today? And he said, go to the Nixa playground? And it shot daggers into my heart. So I'm very excited about the future of Ozark Parks because we have room for growth. I think pickleball courts are a topic of conversation. I think in this room, we talked a lot about playgrounds. And so I'm very excited to see where we can go for the next 5 to 10 years. But yeah, hey, the pickleball at the OC is air conditioned too. So there's that. Awesome.
Okay, thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. As you know, we're not coming to close, but is there any final comments from the board before we go to our next item?
I just wanted to say one thing. There was discussion at the last meeting. Alderman Campbell had brought up an issue and I'd been kind of confused by it. And then he spoke with me and clarified. It dealt with work that was being done in Greenbridge. And he had some photographs, I think, that he showed that he had taken where the developer had worked the project ahead of permitting, he was thinking. And I wanted to tell Alderman Campbell that I'm grateful that he went and looked and inquired. And I'm also glad to know it was a classic issue of miscommunication as he was addressing that with the director, which got clarified. But that kind of interest, and that was in my ward, does at least send the message to the residents there, we are all at different levels, looking, caring, wanting things to go as best as possible. So thank you for your work.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, yes, Alderman
Just wanted
Hutchinson.
to remind everyone of the hearing tomorrow at noon at Nixon
Yes,
City
yes.
Hall on for Liberty Electric's rate increase.
Yes, I'm expecting a full house. I will be there.
And also wanted to comment that I went to the Springfield Planning and Zoning session this week, and they have 2 a month, and this one started at 6:30, and at 11:45 I left, and it was not over yet. So I'm very thankful to live in Ozark.
Anyone else from the board? Okay, if not, we'll move to our item number 12, which is a closed session on litigation. Is there a motion from Alderman for us to do this closed session?
Motion to enter closed session, Your Honor.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion to go in closed session, and that motion was made by Alderman Aiken, second by Alderman Metcalf. Roll call, please.
Alderman Aiken,
Aye.
Alderman Campbell,
Aye.
Alderman Galloway,
Aye.
Alderman Hutchinson,
Aye.
Alderman Metcalf,
Aye.
Alderman Snyder is absent. We have 5 aye votes. Motion carries.
Okay, we're now going closed session.
It sure does.
Okay. Is there a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay. Motion made by Alderman Galloway, second by Alderman Metcalf. All in favor of adjourning, do so by show of hands. And it carries, and we are adjourned. Thank you.
Am I getting, okay, a copy